What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, where today we've got a very different type of video going on, right? So, as we know, Premier League season is starting soon, and the first game for the mighty Reds is away at Portman Road, Ipswich Town. And today we're joined by the lovely Harvey Bell, who is going to give us a little bit of insight from the Ipswich Town perspective, because I'll be honest, not the most into my Ipswich Town lore and knowledge, so I figured who better to get on. Obviously, all of his links are down below. Please do subscribe to him. Again, absolutely insane content creator. Very, very privileged to have him on the channel. Harvey, mate, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I don't really know how to follow that introduction. That was very nice. Yeah. Doing very well. How are you?
Mate, all good. Excited. I'm excited, and I'm guessing that you probably are yourselves. Ipswich Town, promoted. First time in 22 years, right? Top flight football. How you feeling, mate?
I think it defies words, if I'm being honest with you. I've been a season ticket holder now. This will be my 15th season, and I've never seen anything like it. I mean, you look a few years ago in the depths of League One, we had an owner who wasn't really invested in the club. We looked like, albeit going down very slowly, League Two was the eventual destination. All of a sudden, we get investment from Americans. We get a new CEO in Mark Ashton, who is absolutely hell-bent on realigning the club with its fans. He brings in 18 new players with him. It doesn't work out particularly well with the first manager, Paul Cook. He then takes a chance on Manchester United. I know I'm on a Liverpool channel, but he takes a chance on Manchester United assistant Kieran McKenna. And at the time, we're all thinking, well, this is a hell of a risk. Somebody that's never managed a team before, and in a season where we really need to get up from League One. It was scary, but we got Kieran McKenna in. It didn't work out that first season, but in his first full season, we then get to League One. We get promoted from League One with 101 goals, 98 points. Somehow didn't win the league, but fair play to Plymouth.
Yeah.
And then that's where we should be in that terms. I mean, we get promoted from League One. You then think to yourself, right, what we're going to do? We're going to establish ourselves in the Championship, and across the next 3 or 4 years, we'll push on. We'll try, and we'll eventually try to get to the Premier League. Not Ipswich Town. Straight away, we're in there. Before you know it, we're mixing it with Leeds. We're mixing it with Leicester. We're taking on teams left, right, and centre. We're saying, come to Portman Road and have a go at us. We're not here to make up the numbers. We're here to have a go and see where we end up. And apparently, where we ended up was the Premier League. Two promotions in 2 seasons. It's been absolutely incredible, fantastic. The club is back in love with its fans. The fans are back in love with the club, and it's just a terrific place to be. If the club was once described as the most miserable club in English football, I think for the last 2 seasons it can be described as the happiest club in all of English football. Brilliant.
What a lovely sentiment, mate. Yeah, again, as more of an outsider looking in, I don't follow Ipswich too much, but as you've said, back-to-back consistent promotions in itself, not many clubs do achieve that, do they? So it was, again, hats off to you boys. But you're now in the big leagues. You're in the Premier League. As we said, first time in a long time. What are your thoughts? Where are you thinking that you're going to end up? Predictions in terms of the season itself. Obviously, you've come up. You've got bags of confidence. No two ways about it. You're going to give it everything, as you'd expect, right? Particularly in that first game. But are you confident in the abilities to stay up? Or do you think it'll just be a bit too far of a goal line for you?
I'm very confident in staying up. Now, I think this season is all about managing expectations. It's weird going into a season sort of thinking that a 15th, 16th place finish would be a good finish, but ultimately it would be. And we don't have a team of superstars. We're a team that are greater than the sum of our parts in many ways. And I think the thing that ties us all together is the spirit amongst the fans. As I've mentioned, the fans really have made a difference across the last couple of seasons, reinvesting in the club, reinvesting in the team, and it's worked. And we've all done this together. It's all very nice. It's all very good. We've built both in the community, in the fan base. We've built just as a club in general. Commercially, it's been brilliant. So if the worst was to happen and we was to go back down this season, then ultimately I'd have full faith in us to come back up. But knowing how well we've done over the last couple of seasons, and with Kieran McKenna at the helm, there's just so much momentum. So much. It's that there was a point last season where we had come back 2 games in a row to win 3-2. It was then the FA Cup draw. And I remember we didn't end up drawing Manchester United, but I was having a conversation with a colleague at work. And he said, oh, imagine Town got Liverpool, Manchester United, Manchester City. And I genuinely sat there thinking, this team has forgotten how to lose. If we were to get one of those teams, I would genuinely go into it confident. And knowing how our form then continued all the way through last season, I'm still carrying that momentum. And I've got to be realistic. I'm not saying we're going to get a top 4 finish, a top 6 finish, or anything like that. But what I am saying is Ipswich Town are not here to make up the numbers. We have exceeded expectations so much over the last couple of seasons that I sit here thinking to myself, why can't we do it again? Because we have got such a good manager. We've got players that were told that they weren't going to be able to do it in the Championship and then went and finished second in the Championship. So now those same players are being told, well, you can't do it in the Premier League. Honestly, why can't they? Let's see what happens, but I'm very confident.
Again, it's an excellent sentiment to have, right? That positivity bringing in. Again, it's lovely from an outsider's perspective to see that much positivity coming in, right? Again, especially I've been to Portman Road a couple of times in years gone by, and it has not been the nicest place to go. It's not been the most, should we say, friendly atmosphere for their own team, let alone for any opposition that go there. So obviously with the vibes sort of being back at the club, amazing stuff for yourselves. As you've mentioned there, you've said you feel like you could take on the likes of the Liverpool, the Man Cities, the Man Uniteds when you're in that little cup run. You now got to do it on a weekly basis, bud. Again, as we've said, the first game, Liverpool versus Ipswich. What do you reckon then? Talk me through it, play by play. What's going to happen?
Well, first of all, a sleepless night on Friday, that's for sure. But then we'll get to 12:30. We'll get to Portman Road, and I'll be an absolute nervous wreck. But I am excited, of course, for you, Arne Slot's first game in charge. For us, Kieran McKenna's first game in charge of a Premier League team. It's just going to be so fascinating. I'm expecting 2 sides full of belief, full of confidence. They're going to throw hammer and tongs at it. It will be a very attacking occasion, I'm sure. I can expect lots of goals, but ultimately, it's a sold-out Portman Road. It's our first Premier League game in 22 years. It's just going to be a fantastic occasion. I'm looking forward to battles. Leif Davis versus Mohamed Salah. Of course, you've got Sam Morsey in midfield against Endo. That's a terrific battle. You've got probably Liam Delap going up against Van Dijk. Cameron Burgess trying to defend against Darwin Nunez. Now, this is just brilliant. These are the sort of things that, as an Ipswich fan, we obviously haven't seen the last few years. It's little things like when you go to the shop and in the Premier League sticker book, Ipswich players are in there. It's so good. And to have that realisation come 12:30 on Saturday that actually we're in the Premier League, we're taking on Liverpool, is going to be brilliant. So win, lose or draw, a fantastic occasion, but I am definitely expecting us to come at it, be confident, and I don't think it's going to be easy for Liverpool.
No, I'm 100% inclined to agree. Again, we all know how much Liverpool hate 12:30 kickoffs, right? It's a meme at this point. We've got another one, newly promoted side. As you've said, your tails are going to be so high up. You're going to be all for this going forward. And why shouldn't you be? As you've said, you definitely have earned the right to be there. It's not like you were sixth and you got through in playoffs. You finished second, doing incredible Leicester squad. So, again, hats off to you there. But again, I know we've gone through sort of score predictions on your video. Please do go and check those out. I believe there'll be a couple coming into Harvey Bell's channel soon or over the coming week. But looking at your squad, and again, I've seen on your channel you've been linked to a couple of players with the likes of, was it Schmodix you looked to try and get over the line?
Yeah.
Is there any weaknesses that you are worried about moving forward with the season if they don't get rectified between now and then?
Yeah, there are, and this is where I start to get worried, because if you look at our starting 11, I'm very confident in it, but it's the squad depth that's a bit of a worry. And funnily enough, had we done this video a couple of weeks, I would have probably had a different answer to this question. But then suddenly George Hurst got injured, and George Hurst has been pivotal to our success over the last couple of seasons. Lots of goals he's scored. Nathan Broadhead on the left wing, our joint top goal scorer last season. He's now got a long-term injury. And all of a sudden, you look at our squad and we've got 2 strikers at the minute. We've got Freddie the Dapo as well, but it looks like he could be off. So all of a sudden, up front, we're looking quite light. We're looking very light on the left wing. And I think as well, we've got 2 ageing centre midfielders. Sam Morsey is now 32. Massimo Luongo is 32. They've been absolutely brilliant across the last couple of seasons. But realistically, how long have they got left in them? Now, Sam Morsey's an engine. I think he'll go forever, to be honest with you. But we did start to see last season, despite all of his quality, that Luongo maybe couldn't manage a full 90 minutes. We then had Jack Taylor, who would come on and take his place, who technically is a brilliant footballer, fitness-wise, very good. But this is a player that hasn't played regular football all through last season. This is a player that hasn't played in the Premier League. Do I think he can make the step up? Quite possibly. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, we need some Premier League experience in this squad. And that's when you look at all of our squad, actually, is that's the one thing that's lacking. There's so much potential. There's so much belief, there's a lot of quality, but there's not a lot of Premier League experience. So I think, to answer your question, left wing, striker and centre midfielder, absolute priority. And if we can get some Premier League experience in there, then even better.
100%. That's what you need realistically as a team going up, right? You want that lovely balance between experience and youth, as you would do. When it comes to those positions, from my perspective, absolutely would love to see a sign of number 6, some sort of midfielder. I think that's what that squad needs in its utmost. Another centre half would be nice itself, but yeah, fingers crossed we get our wallet out and we actually sign somebody. But how many signings have you guys made so far? Have you been a bit privy in the market, or?
We've made 6 signings so far, one of which was Amari Hutchinson, who was on loan with us last season. Yeah. We signed him for a club record fee of £20 million. Liam Delap, we've signed from Manchester City, 15 million there. Jacob Greaves from Hull City as centre-back, 15 million. We got Ben Johnson on a free transfer from West Ham, which is a good signing.
Very good signing.
Aro Muric from Burnley as in goal, that's 10 million. And then we got Connor Townsend from West Brom, who was a bit of a signing that came out of nowhere in many ways. It's not a household name. We paid 750,000 for him, but he's backup to Leif Davis. Now, I don't know sort of how well you know the Ipswich squad, but Leif Davis is basically God at Portman Road. He's okay, fantastic, but there's not much cover to him at left back. So Connor Townsend was very much a signing of, if Davis is injured, at least we've got a left back there. So just someone to bolster the squad. Not every signing needs to be 10 million. So yeah, our transfer business has been good, but I still feel like there's more to come.
100%. Well, fingers crossed on this end too. There'll be something to come to discuss. So as we have already said, we've gone through on your channel for the actual school predictions itself. What did we go for? I know you backed an Ipswich Town win, but why? Why did you go for an Ipswich Town win?
So I backed an Ipswich Town 2-1 win, and it's sort of what I said earlier in the sense that it's a sold-out Portman Road, it's a fantastic occasion, and I've never seen a squad rely on momentum so much. Now, there's so much quality in our team, but when push came to shove last season, and there was maybe 5 minutes left on the clock, and we were 1-0 down, or drawing 1-1 but needed the win. There were so many occasions where we just found it out of nowhere. And that largely because of the quality in the squad, but also because of the fans. Like, there was so much desire and such a connection between the fans and the players here. And I just genuinely do think that in the big moments, we always deliver. So this is, of course, a big occasion. It's a chance for us to showcase almost a snippet of what we've done over the last 2 seasons in one game against Liverpool, and sort of try and remind people why we are here, try and show people what we're about, and try and announce our arrival on the biggest stage. Kieran McKenna, as I've alluded to, and if you can't tell, I'm a very big fan.
Yeah, I got the vibe, bud.
he seems to have a bit of a magic wand. There's a proven track record of players coming into the club and improving under him. If there was anyone that I could choose to help bridge that gap from the game where we got promoted against Huddersfield to now taking on Liverpool just 2 or 3 months later, it would be him. I've never had so much confidence in my team, in my club, so I couldn't do anything else than back us for a win.
Lovely stuff. Well, I do
That
hope
said, though,
Go ahead.
That said, I am realistic. I understand that it's a very strong Liverpool squad. This is a Liverpool squad that has won lots over the last few seasons. They themselves are hungry under Arne Slot. So by no means will it be easy. It's going to be difficult. I could be in for a hell of a shock. I could, we could be 6-0 down at half time, but I can't do anything other than back the town for a win.
Yeah, I don't want to tarnish your confidence. But yeah, you almost persuaded me with that argument. Christ. But no, I'm in a similar sort of camp, as we've sort of said, obviously, with the vibe, the 12:30 kickoff, that the first game of the season, it's going to be difficult for Liverpool to get going. It just will. New system, a lot of new players coming in, a lot of players that haven't featured in pre-season already. So I think it'll definitely be an exciting game, but I can't not back Liverpool. I guess we'll find out after the game, right? But again, we'll wait and see. Fingers crossed, my man. Anyway, I guess we'll call that there. Thank you ever so much for being on the channel, Harvey. I do really appreciate it, my man. Hopefully for the reverse.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, well, without further ado, boys, as I've already said, thanks ever so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, or comment down below, all that good stuff. What do you think the score will be? Who do you think is going to be walking away with 3 points, or maybe 1 point apiece? We'll soon find out. Again, massive shout out to Harvey. All things Ipswich Town and general football. He's the guy to go to. But yeah, thanks ever so much for watching. See you guys later.